All right, g'day. Here we are, week 15 for the Circa Contest, Circa Million, Circa Survivor. Again with Gabe, Survivor Atlas, and Scott, Vegas Horsebulls Proxy. Scott, what do we got this week?
It was a really good week here. This week coming up could be a crazy one. But let's get started real quick with the Texans. Texans come in as a favorite, 9.5 points, number one pick of all my customers. You want to tell us where the master money is and how this game's going to finish? And I think you might have played this one a couple times yourself, right?
Yeah, I did actually. When I look at your proxy list, it feels like I might be only contestant in there, because everything that's high on yours is what I've played. So it seems like we're all kind of on the same bandwagons within your proxy service. This one was somewhat easy, I think. The 9.5. The line's 10 and popping up 10.5 in some spots. Really good two-way action from the masters there. 62% of the money is on the Texans. 61% of the master money is on the Texans, but a lot of this is at the 10 both ways. It was a tickle at 9.5 from the masters early, but yeah, a little bit of the 10.5 coming back. But I think this for the contest was expected to be one of the top ones, with the Texans being 9.5 at home. Arizona kind of just, plodding along right now. So this one was a simple one.
Very, very simple in that case. Gabe, is this one going to be a top pick on the Survivor side?
So, and we're in the final 10. 3 of the people have Houston. They're a big favorite, but it seems like people are saving them for next week when they play Raiders. I don't know if you guys have noticed how some of the contestants, some of the final players are announcing their pick on Twitter, whether they're bluffing or not.
I've seen it.
It's the conversation. So I think of the 6 people who said their pick, none of them said Houston. It makes sense. Some of them have Houston. They're just saving it for the Raiders next week.
Makes perfect sense. Let's jump off to number 2. This one, I think they call it a Survivor Killer. I think that's what their nickname is. It's the Browns, plus 7.5. They're the number 2 pick by all the people that use my proxy service. Adam, you want to tell us the way this game's going to end up?
Yeah, I mean, this one, I used them a little bit. The total's fairly low. They're expecting insane cold weather for this game. So who knows what's going to happen. 76% of the money is on Chicago. 70% of the master money is on the Browns. It is low volume, so it's not sort of a strong play. Bears have the most money overall. It's not quite the biggest bet game. I think it's second behind the Lions Rams as the biggest bet game so far of the week. But as it comes for individual money, the Bears have got, a ton of money. Ton of teaser money as well. There is a lot of this one where they have brought it down to 1.5 for teasers as well. I think it was a bit over 50% of this money is teasers.
Gotcha. But it doesn't sound like it's play of the day, right?
No, and then actually the play of the days, I am going to get into a game that's a standout. It's not a day to play. There was another one that was starting to look like it was going to be a play, and then a shit ton of money's come on it. So I'll raise that as well at some point.
Sounds good. Gabe, what are you seeing on this game?
Well, only one of the final entries have Chicago. They could go down to Chicago to guarantee themselves, being on an island, but I don't think anyone's going to do that with the handful of other huge favorites available. There's a big difference between a minus 12.5 and a minus 7.5. So I think no one's going this low.
Definitely agree. Well, the next game number 3, most popular with my customers, is a very upsetting pick in my household. Miami plus 3.5. We're big Steeler fans in this house. So, Adam, where's the money on this? And let me tell my wife that you're actually on the Pittsburgh side.
No, I definitely use Miami with a 3 and a hook. This one, again, it's 2 average teams that are up and down all over the place right now. The line's a solid 3, sort of had to take the 3.5, and then also being the Monday night game. 54% of the money overall is on Pittsburgh, but 84% of the master money is on the Dolphins. But it's all at 3.5. There's, they're friendless at 3, a little bit back on the Pittsburgh side, but Miami money at 3.5, strong sharp money there. And, I was going through it. I actually was really struggling to find sort of 5 games that I had confidence with this week. And, when it got down to it, just looked like, you had to throw that one in. I had a horrible week last week on the millions. I think I went 2-3, but it just felt like it could have been 0-5. Like, it was just, I played very square, played games that I just wouldn't have normally done it. But just had to be a play, I think, in the main one, and then sort of played around with the other entries.
Gotcha. So my wife doesn't listen to the show, so she'll have no idea what you just said. So I'll just say we didn't talk about it.
Listen, Pittsburgh win by 3. I mean, that's, then everyone's happy.
Everybody's happy. Gabe, I got a feeling you're going to say nobody's touching this game in Survivor, but I'll let you say.
Yeah, I don't see people putting the $1.8 million ticket down here when they got the other ones available.
Makes perfect sense. Well, it looks like we got another big one here. We got the Philadelphia Eagles, big favorite, minus 11.5. Adam, where are you seeing the money on this game?
Yeah, this is a low volume bet game. Again, another one. If you're up near the lead, you're taking the 11.5 when the line's 13. If you're trying to be a contrarian, making up numbers, take the plus 11.5 when the number's 13. 64% of the money is on the Eagles. 94% of the master money at minus 11 is where they actually hit that on the Eagles there. Again, it just feels like this week that these big favorites are genuinely big favorites, as in there just seems no question that the Raiders, with that, great cover last week with our play of the week, it just feels like some of these teams are just ripe to get absolutely rolled. Eagles have been a bit rough. They're back at home. They need a big win. Some of these big favorites, they just need Jaguars as well. They need to win, and they need to sort of put a stamp on it.
Sounds good. Gabe, how about this one? Is the Eagles going to be one of our top Survivor picks?
Definitely. There's 2, maybe 3 people who've already announced their own Eagles. And it's kind of a big deal because Eagles have these 2 Washington games where it seems like they'll be strong favorites. So it's going to hurt a little bit for anyone to burn the Eagles, but they're such a big favorite, like Adam was saying, that there's no getting around it for some of these entries.
Sounds really good there. And I would assume you're against publicizing your pick before the deadline so everybody knows what you're doing. It can't be good to play your cards face up, right?
Well, it's weird this week. All these people doing it, they're with such big favorites. I'm not sure if anyone is changing anyone else's mind. The idea is, don't pick the same team I did because there's more people on it. That's less value. So you guys go your own team. But, with so many weeks left, we're still 5 picks left. And all these top teams, Jacksonville, San Fran, Philly, they'll have future weeks that matter too. So I think for the most part, everyone is just doing the best path for themselves. And I don't think this week they're going to be swayed by this stuff. That's also worth saying that in a pool, if you were playing a Survivor pool with your friends or your family, your office, whatever, and some people started announcing their picks, it's kind of a dick move. It's kind of like an angle shoot to do that. But in a contest like Circa, when it's like so big and it's just like a battlefield and it's the biggest one, and everyone else is doing that stuff, maybe it's not so much of a violation. I don't know. I'm not really sure what I think about this, but it's interesting. It's like a new era in Survivor. If everyone wants to start doing this stuff and taking screenshots of their pick, and we know someday someone's going to change the screenshot around, or who knows, right? Like, so
I think you sort of hit it there. It's this is an easy week to go out there and put it up. Where, as you said, you got like 3 or 4 sort of ones that they're all going on. This is an easy one to potentially call and say, I'm going to do this. But a lot of them are also with a bit of clout and, social media and everything else these days. And I presume as well they've, doing the Survivor, TV show series, whatnot as well. So people are starting to ramp up their public personas per se in trying to, make this thing an exciting thing down to the end. But yeah, there doesn't feel like there's a ton of strategy this week because you've got 3 games that are almost double, 2 touchdown favorites. So it's, there's no sort of gamemanship per se as much as Christmas Day, I think that's where a few of them will get sorted out.
Definitely.
Some of them have multiple entries. They're probably just going to pick both sides just to make sure they get through that extra step. But yeah, it's interesting to see how it's all playing out now.
I guess I take a little bit different stance than you guys in this. When I play cards, I never show you a card unless you pay for it. I don't care. I don't want to give you any information that I'm not required to give you. So I would never tell you what I was picking. If there was only one game and I only had one side I could bet, I still wouldn't tell you. Now you can figure it out. Now, I can't stop you, but I'm not going to help you. But interesting idea you guys have about putting them out there. Well, let's talk about our 5th game. Let's go ahead and take a look at the other important game of the week, and it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Looks like they're about a 13.5-point favorite. Adam, where are you seeing the money on this one?
Yeah, this is all Jags. Anyone's struggling to play the Jets on anything. Looking at sort of 74% of the money on the Jaguars, 95% of the master money's on the Jags. Diving into it, a lot of it's at 13.5. Looks like a solid 14 number now. But yeah, this one's, it's hard to be on Jets at the best of times, but, they're just an absolute mess right now.
I got you there. Gabe, you want to tell us about the Survivor?
Yes, so at least 3 people have announced they're going to be on Jacksonville here. This one, maybe even 4 or 5 people end up on this one. It just seems like hard to imagine them losing, right? I think people with Jacksonville are pretty happy to slam it in here this week.
Yeah, it looks like definitely a pretty easy win here. I asked for some questions and we got several of them. Let me see if I can pull up the first one. Adam, I think the first one's for you. They wanted you, and you haven't given play of the day yet. Let's go ahead and hold play of the day in case I accidentally hit it here. But my buddy Phoenix Adam asked me to ask you about 2 specific games. Buffalo, I believe they're a pick 'em in the contest this week. Where are you seeing the master money on that game?
Yeah, this one was really weird. There was actually the 3 games that, I actually had to double check who was the home team. And Patriots being at home to the Bills was one of them, and being an underdog. Patriots have done nothing wrong. Bills have looked horrific the last few weeks. Even last week at home, being down, and then thankfully Burrow's, a couple of picks and whatnot, and they win the game. And then, didn't quite cover. But it's like 58% of the money's on the Bills, 100% of the master money's on the Bills. There's just a couple of games this week that just feel like setups. And this being one of them where it just feels like, Patriots, home dog. How can you not be on them? But I did notice there's a lot of teaser money on this as well. A lot of money putting the Patriots up to 7.5, 7.5 there at home. So, and they'd sort of tied into the other one I thought was the Bengals at home. A lot of teaser money there. And then the third one was the Broncos at home, being an underdog as well to Green Bay, which felt a little unusual. A lot of teaser money there. A lot of money. And this was actually going to be the play of the day early on. But as I logged in tonight, shit ton of money's come on the Broncos today. And it's down to 1, was it 2.5? And it's close to 70% of the money is now on the Broncos, and a bit over 90% of the master money on the Broncos as well. But early on, it was looking like there was going to be more master money on the Packers than the Broncos. But they've come in hard for Denver today.
Gabe, you got anything to add on those 2 games?
No. I wish I did. I'm excited to watch both of them, but I don't know how to get an edge on those.
Yeah, that Buffalo game, I think it's going to be one of the best games of the weekend. So I'm anxious to see that one myself. But yeah, Adam, you accidentally covered the next one because I had Buffalo and Denver on the list here. So let's go ahead and go to the next one. Gabe, I swear This question did not come from me.
Okay.
I'm not rubbing your nose in anything.
Lay it
But
on
the
me.
question came in. This one's also from my buddy Phoenix Adam. So I know he watches a lot, and he probably heard what we talked about. Do you still think this thing is going to go all the way to week 20?
So what I'm looking at, some numbers I ran this morning, is we're still 88% to finish. So still likely to finish, or have someone complete the season, I should say. If one person completes it, that counts as finishing. But the most likely outcome I'm seeing is only one winner. About a third of the time, we're going to have one winner. And the average number of winners I'm seeing is 2.3. There is a chance, it's like 0.23%, something like that, that the contest ends this weekend. If all the 3 teams lose, then, it's done. So there is still a way for all 10 to cash at the same time. And, there's some ways where, 4 or 5 people can cash if all the favorites win and Dallas wins and stuff like that.
So, Gabe, let me ask you a question. Have we heard any conversations of chop? Because, this would be a perfect time to take $1 million each and play it out for $8 million. Has there been conversations or any talk of this?
Yes, lots of people trying to make stuff happen. It seems like there's not one big deal that everyone's in on. This thing where half the entries have Dallas and half have Washington for Christmas really makes the values way different for half the field. All signs are just pointing to Dallas being the favorite there. So if everyone survives, which isn't that unlikely this week and next week, if everyone survives, those Washington people are at a disadvantage. So maybe if everyone's talking, but there's not one big deal, maybe there's some swaps between like a Washington person and a Dallas person. Like that's kind of a cool swap.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It also seems like there was a show the other night where a few of the finalists were on and doing an interview, and all of them had partners. It seemed like everyone has people they're playing with. Where if there was one person who didn't have any partners and it was all on them, they would be kind of desperate for a deal, right? But if some of these people have a handful of partners, maybe they're waiting until Christmas till they're feeling desperate for a deal.
Okay, well, interesting.
I think I know this answer, but I gotta ask it because it's been provoked here. Adam, if you're one of the final 10, do you even take their phone call about a chop?
Oh, 100%. I'm 100%. I'd be having conversations about chops because, you're at a point where even for me, this is significant money, but I know there's a lot of people involved that this is, ultimately life-changing kind of situation. Yes, there's a lot of individuals with, teams of how many ever people and things like that. But I'm always going to, at this point, be listening to, people's conversations or interest or anything on that and understanding everybody's position. Because you could do some kind of deal structure right now where everyone's pocketing a significant amount and then you're still leaving a shit ton on the table to say, all right, let's play it out kind of thing. Even on that spot, the 5 Dallas, 5 Washington, and there's some kind of mathematical, all right, the 5 Dallas people get X amount, the 5 Washington people get X amount, and we're still leaving, 8 million or something on the table to play for till the end. I think they're easy conversations to have and sort of see where everyone's at with it.
Yes, or to add, it also just makes sense that it's not like there's lots of time to make deals, right? Like the game's going to happen in a couple of days, and then there's 4 or 5 days left for the next round. And I think anyone in that position, it's smart just to kind of grease the wheel, talk to whoever you can, because it's hard to put that stuff together last minute, right? Like you can't do an hour before the deadline and say, who wants to do a quick little swap? Like everyone's got different opinions, so it doesn't come together easily, I wouldn't think.
Wow.
Correct.
I'm absolutely shocked.
Yeah, and you've still got, 10 entries, so potentially 40, 50 humans involved, and that's still a hard thing to get everyone aligned and come together on. But 100%, you have the conversation this week. If a couple get knocked out, then you're down to sort of 8, then you're 7, and who knows, it might be up to Christmas Day where you've got 5 years left and you're saying, all right, 2 million each and still play for the 8. But I'd be heavily involved in any conversations right now that people wanting to, wheel and deal and sort of see what it is. And as Gabe said, if I've got Dallas or Washington and someone's got vice versa and we've got somewhat of the similar entry, you'd be saying, all right, let's, pair up our entries. We're guaranteed to get one through Christmas Day, whatever it is. But yeah, I'm always open to helping or hearing other people's positions, especially if it means a hell of a lot more to them than what it does to me in those situations.
All right.
Right on.
Sounds good there.
To add one more thing. Also, these 3 teams getting picked, they're such big favorites where hedging, like it's kind of easy enough this week, I think, for people. You just bet the Jets money line for a little bit and move on. I think people don't feel pressed because that's kind of easy this week.
Right.
Gotcha.
I'll add something else.
We got a couple more questions here.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Gabe. Add what you were going to say.
No, go ahead.
I just had a Survivor thought, and that is no one in Survivor is going to be on Seattle versus Indianapolis, but that Indy situation has kind of shook up Survivor a little bit because all of a sudden, some people with San Fran can go to Indy next week, or the Jacksonville people with them left can play Jacksonville Indy week 17. So I feel like the Phillip Rivers, like what shows up there, I don't know. I see the line. It doesn't look good for Indy. But I think that's kind of a sneaky spot with some Survivor implications. How bad are the Colts going to be without a Daniel Jones anymore?
Gotcha. All right. We got a couple more questions. Let me go ahead and go to the next one. This one is for you, Adam. But I really think this one's for me, but I'm going to pretend like it's for you. This is from Model Magic Lisa. I went and took a look at her Twitter, and she puts out a lot of videos on who she's picking for the NFL. Looks like she does a little NBA also. She wants to know, how do you think a person would increase their networking in the Twitter sphere, if you will, and how can she get more outs to bet at? Do you have any advice for her?
A little bit. I mean, for me, the out situation is I haven't been needing outs for a very long time. Ran out of family members, beards, all those kind of things. If I really need to get something down, I can find ways to do it these days. But not doing as much betting as I am bookmaking. It's really tough. I mean, but some of the deals out there, I've heard some of these deals that big groups, smart guys are giving away. And I'd almost want to be a mover for some of these guys because they're giving away the house on some of these deals, so desperate to get outs. So I don't know, maybe she's a potential. And again, these days when a female signs up, it's kind of red flags whenever they come in. Especially if they start firing away on things.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's just, reach out, sort of see what you're looking for. You might find a lot of people that want to be on the other side of the stuff that she's looking to play as well. There's really not that many sort of people on this planet anymore that I wouldn't want to be booking their stuff. Bettors are definitely getting a lot savvier. Groups are coming together and are getting a lot smarter. And a lot of books are just, not doing any of the work and just limiting and kicking people out. So there's a lot of cycle of accounts. And again, 6 kids, one at betting age, a couple of years from getting another one at betting age, 4 years from the third one to get betting age. I'm sort of got a pipeline coming down with the six-year-old getting there in like 12 years. But yeah, it's a challenge these days, and I'm glad I'm not out there trying to get all these different outs. And the other thing is getting paid. The unregulated space, we saw it in sweeps at one point in time. I think the prediction markets is actually good for bettors now, being able to get out there and look for places, the Robinhoods, the crypto stuff like that. They're not going to look to limit you or kick you out. And then you sort of fight in the liquidity world of, making sure it's there and stuff like that. So it's a challenge for anyone. I mean, I kind of laugh when I sort of hear all these things because, I mean, in Australia, this was my challenge in the 90s. Come to this side of the world, this was my challenge 20 years ago. Like by 2008, 9, it was a struggle. And by 20, I think it was 13, when I went and started doing some stuff with BetChris, like I had Pinnacle, Betfair, Bookmaker, BetChris, and I literally took away one of my best outs. So that's when sort of the shift of the paradox of, well, now I'm a bit more of a bookmaker than I am a bettor. And I know that, evolution's changed over the last 10 plus years. But it's hard. I mean, there's just really not a lot of sports books and gambling operators out there that want to take that exposure and that risk. So you got to play the games, play some casino stuff, start off your account with a bunch of parlays, like just go into the hole, a few thousand, even 10,000, depending what your end goal is, but just getting into a hole, becoming, get your VIP manager and then hit them very quick and sort of surprise them that way. But it's a challenge.
I should have known the first time we met in person and you told me you had kids. I should have known it was an advantage play. I had no idea you were starting your own farm team. So apparently what you're recommending for Magic Model Lisa is for her to get pregnant and get the team started, is what you're saying.
I mean, right? Get out there, get it started, and just spread them out. I've got, one in Australia, looking for Jamaican, and, just put them all over the place. Build up that team.
Right. Every book in the world. Have an account of every
there
book
you
in the world. 7 continents.
I don't know how she's going to take this advice, but that's funny. So, Gabe, do you have any advice for Model Magic Lisa besides getting pregnant?
The stuff that popped in my head were, one, like all the success I've had in chasing down gambling stuff has always been way better when I had friends into it and being able to bounce ideas off people. That's been invaluable for me. And I don't know if Twitter is a good place to meet people like that. But maybe it's a good place to meet people who have like maybe some private Discord chats with gamblers who are dealing with the same problems or something like that. Because it's a hard road to go alone if you don't know the industry, know how to all these things. So I would just encourage anyone in general who's like committed to it to try to find some people however you can. And I don't know if Twitter's the answer for that, but it's a start, right? Bet Bash.
It's a start, and I got to admit, you stole my line. You stole my line. First, I was going to say, I get a tremendous amount of messages in my DMs all the time. Maybe it's because I work for Spanky at Spot Odds. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm pretty well known from Bet Bash. Again, I don't know. Maybe it's from me being so well from hanging out with my buddy Adam here. Again, I don't know, but I get a lot of messages. I would encourage you to just respond to all the messages that you get, and one of them might be gold. But if Model Magic Lisa would have asked me the question, the answer is very simple. It's Bet Bash, Bet Bash, and Bet Bash. Especially if you can come a day early and go to my special luncheon. I've had a special luncheon at Bet Bash every year since the very first year with Bet Bash number 2, where Adam actually was my star speaker at that one. There was only 8 of us at that special luncheon. And this last year we had 67 at my special luncheon the day before. Gabe, I'm counting on you going next year.
Hey,
I've already got commitments. I should be in the low 80s or so based on who I've talked to in the next Bet Bash. So Model Magic Lisa, reach out to me. I'll get you an invitation to my special luncheon. It's the day before VIP day at Bet Bash, and you have to go to Bet Bash. So that's the best advice I can give you. As far as outs, I got no idea. Everybody in the world's fighting that problem. I can't give you any advice at all on that. Next question, Adam. This one is for you. And this one is a game. It's the It's the Washington game. Oh, it's the college game that's going to start here in about a half an hour. You want to tell us where the master money is in that game? I think BYU's in that game.
Boise State and Washington.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
So we're looking at about 68% of the money overall on Washington, 62% of the master money on Washington. Bunch of it come in, bit at 7, bit at 7.5, 8. A lot of it come in at minus 9.5. Actually, some pretty strong money, but yet the line's back at 9. So there was actually some strong money there. So right now, and then we're looking at 67% on the over, 58% of the master money on the under, and the money line's generally all on the favorite there. But decent betting early on. There was a lot of back and forth on that Army-Navy game. I don't know what the total ended up or the final score of the game, but there was a lot of money. Usually that's a dead under, a lot of money on the over. So I'm not sure where that ended up in the end.
Army-Navy was under, and Navy won by 1, I believe.
Okay. But I know I was on them quite a few times this year with the data plays on a Saturday. Where a lot of the money was on the favorite and they were an underdog, and the masters are on them. And generally, a lot of all that Navy was seeing a lot of money this week. I meant to do a release earlier of it, but it was just all one way pretty much on Navy. So Army winning outright sounds like definitely was a result for the books.
No. Navy won by 1. I think it was 17-16.
Okay. Still, I think it was a result for the books because it was all at 6.5, 6, 5.5, stuff like that early on.
Okay. That's good. I think that's all of the questions that we have here. Gabe, did you have anything you want to talk about your website or anything?
Well, since you brought it up, it was kind of exciting this past week when the field got knocked down from was like 45 all the way to 10. There's a handful of the people surviving that are members of the website, and we turned off access for any new people signing up. So if anyone likes the ideas that we're putting out there and they're still in it and they want to try to see what we're seeing or that our community sees, well, like it's not allowed anymore. No more sign-ups. So that was kind of a cool moment. I hope my community appreciates us doing that. Maybe it didn't make a difference, but our whole mission has been to get some people who think like we do into the winner's circle, and we're getting close. So exciting.
Makes perfect sense to me. Adam, did you want to talk a little bit about Jamaica or anything else on your mind?
I'm heading back over there Thursday or Friday to start distributing. Hopefully the items that we're shipping down there get there this week. As I've been on a few different ones, set up the stand.store/Adam Bjorn, trying to sort of just get some financial assistance. I've put a lot into it and I'll put a lot more into it, but I've actually had quite a few people reach out. So that's why I'd set them up a location that they could go and help out. It's been a lot of people go on there and do that. And then just looking through these games, as I said, Packers is going to be a big one for the house. There's no real data ones jumping out at the spreads. Patriots going to be a big one for the house. But I did find a money line that I'm going to throw out there. We're looking at 67% of the money line action is on the Rams. But 84% of the master money line action is on the Lions. Generally, it's around the money they've taken is 240, 250, which doesn't necessarily look like it's available right now. But I think there's a bit of like 225, 230. So throw one out a little different this week and go with the Lions money line tomorrow.
Wow, you got the play of the day in there right at the end. All right. Well, the one thing I wanted to let you guys know this weekend is I know everybody that's watching are all advantage players, and there's no better advantage than getting involved in a free roll. And if you guys haven't checked out the Omar Show and specifically the SV Network, they run a free poker tournament every Tuesday. You ever want to play free poker on a Tuesday? I try to make it every single week. It gives you a chance to play a little poker, have a little fun. It's a free roll, gives you a chance to play with other players. But there's some late breaking news. They are now going to have some kind of pick contest. I don't have all the details yet, but I know if you check out the SV Network, or specifically Omar, on Twitter, they're going to be starting a free roll contest. I believe it's on Wednesday. You might want to check that out. Give you a chance to have a little fun. And again, I know all you guys are advantage players, and there's nothing a bigger advantage than a nice free roll. So hopefully you guys will be talked into being involved into it also. And, I've already signed up for both of them, so I'll be in there. I'm not afraid to play a free roll. Right. Oh, another thing I wanted to add, Adam, they are talking about having a contest on the SV Network with teams. It sounds like they're going to have up to 5 people on a team. Thought maybe I might be able to talk you. Maybe I'll be able to talk Gabe into being on the team with me. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that when off air. But I think that might be fun. Sounds like you're going to put in 1 pick a day, or maybe it's multiple picks a day. But I thought if I had the best team, I could hide and not be the drawdown on the team. Really, the only thing I'm good at picking is the number of people that are going to end up in the finals in Survivor, because I was the only one that had a single digits.
Right.
If you guys remember or not. All right, guys, I think it's been a great week. Adam, you got anything you want to close with, and we'll get out of here?
There is actually something. I was just looking at some emails and whatnot. So I bought a horse last week, a nut hair of a horse, 2-year-old colt. He absolutely shitted in last Saturday at Aqueduct. So it looks like I might have a horse on the Kentucky Derby trail. So as we get into the new year and that, hopefully he stays healthy, and hopefully I got something to cheer on there. But if anyone's seeing any future odds on Kentucky Derby out there, let me know, because I'm looking to back this thing as hard as I can, as early as I can. So feel free to reach out, and we'll see what we can do and get set up there. So that's it for this week. Good luck to those survivors. I mean, love to be still participating. Last week was a lot of fun, because I think even this show, we'd sort of said that we're against Cleveland a little bit. Thought that like the Bucks were a chance to go down, and it ended up being, there's no way I would be still surviving. I wouldn't have got through the Thanksgiving. Last week was chaos, but it's a lot of fun watching these things and sort of knowing that, people are having fun and just sweating their ass off with this thing. As I said, horrible millions week after sort of publicly getting out there and saying tied 17th and whatnot. But I played very square, and I didn't even look where I am right now. I'm not going to look until the last week. Fired away on a Friday evening like I should have last week, and that's it. I mean, good luck to everyone tomorrow.
Right on. Thanks, guys.
All right, cheers.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.